What if? Morse code applications. Morse code, invented by Samuel F.B. Morse in the early 1840s, has served countless purposes since the time of its creation, from assisting in railroad communications to wartime correspondence. It was a mainstream method of official communication. However, we don't really see too much of the once staple anymore in our day-to-day lives. Save for its presence in many detective stories and children's daring guidebooks, we are rarely exposed to even mention of the code. Though it is still used in some fields, such as aviation and aeronautics, as well as in certain nautical professions, Morse code is not as widely used as it once was. There are still some very intriguing ways in which you could use Morse code if a situation arises in which you may find it beneficial to communicate or leave a message in a discreet manner currently unknown to many, but possibly known to those you wish to communicate with. For example, text message Morse code. Instead of the typical dots and dashes of telegraphs, today this code could be utilized by many using text messaging apps. Message notifications to represent dots and pauses to represent dashes, with long pauses to represent a separation between characters. Applying Morse code to their modern day can be done in many ways, utilizing creativity. For example, use a coin to discreetly communicate in a group situation with heads as dots and tails as dashes, tapping on the coin as necessary to indicate repeats of a dot or dash, and pausing on the final dot or dash of the character to indicate separation between characters. Similarly, you can use writing tools and the distinguishability of downward strokes versus upward strokes to indicate dots and dashes respectively, with spaces between the encoded characters. Similarly, this can be done with black and white dots, or with short and long blinks, or even fixing of one's hair. As long as there is a way to make use of a somewhat binary system of cues that can indicate the Morse code system with a way to distinguish characters, you can create a version of Morse code. It may be possible to create endless applications of the established Morse code by varying its mode of conveyal. There are some considerations to be aware of, however. This includes reliance on perfect conditions. For example, a system of text message Morse code would rely on perfect signal connection on both the sender side and the recipient side, lest one risks missignaling due to lag. One must also be aware of the ease at which their code may be understood by the intended recipient. For example, is it possible that the inspector may garner the downstrokes to be dots and the upstrokes to be dashes, or the other way around? Or will they even interpret it to be Morse code? Will the message one is trying to send be recognized by the intended recipient? In other words, will the recipient even know they are looking at a code? As a pre-established system of communication in an encoded manner, Morse code has the potential to be applied to countless situations, even in the present day, in which creativity is the only limiting factor.